rest of the invitees would be ogling the king. Revellers packed the train into central London, everyone smiling fit to pop. Why not? The London victory celebrations would be commemorated by a parade down the Strand, led by His Majesty George VI. The clatter of the train rattled tenfold inside Livy's vodka-soaked brain. No one in her car noticed it, though. They'd fought for this day and looked as though they planned to enjoy it. All the men had pulled out their old uniforms. Some had put on enough weight in a year that they bulged out of belts and fitted tunics. A few still had that shell-shocked gaze, their eyes fixed blankly ahead, as if they expected air raid sirens to go off any moment. Some hugged their children, spouses, or girlfriends as if to make up for lost time. But most of them just looked relieved to be on the other side of it. She envied them and their ability to just enjoy the day. For her, the war hadn't been something to be endured. It had given her purpose and meaning, qualities her life now decidedly lacked. If Peter had been here, things might be different. He would have loved a victory parade. Just like all these other happy folks on the train, he'd bask in every moment with family and ex-comrades in arms. He lit up any room with that big smile on his V-shaped face. They could have enjoyed this day together. The first time Livy had met Peter Scobie, she'd just fallen out of a plane in a field in France. The beauty of that moonlit flight across the English Channel 3 years ago had calmed her jangling nerves. It had been a one-way flight behind enemy lines in a 2-seat Lysander, painted black to make it less of a target for German anti-aircraft. Below her, the torn and battered coastline of France somehow looked serene in the blue moon glow. The landing was not so peaceful. The pilot, who had to guide the Lysander with only a map and compass, put the plane down hard in a small clearing, barely 100 yards long on barren farmland just south of Paris. The front wheels bounced and jerked the nose of the aircraft up as the pilot struggled to get the small aircraft down. 4 people, all dressed in black, ran alongside the plane as it skipped through the clearing, but the Lysander whipped past the reception committee, skidding to a stop just before a bank of trees at the end of the field.
"Get out, quick!"
the pilot barked over his shoulder.
"Too much noise on the landing. Might have alerted the Boche."
Livy stood, trying to reach her pack under the cramped seat. The torque of the plane caused her to lose her balance, sending her arse over elbow to the hard French terrain below. She managed to keep her head up, but the force of the fall knocked the wind from her as she landed hard on her back. By this time, the reception committee had caught up with the plane, and a tall man wrapped in a tattered farmer's jacket offered her his hand. Livy, embarrassed by the indignity of her landing, sloughed him off and got up on her own, despite the unwieldy weight of her pack. She righted herself and looked up at him, his smile crooked, hair looking as if a comb had never touched it, right hand extended. "Thank you very much, but I can do for myself just fine," she said, getting her wind back. The tall man chortled. "Did you bring the hot pot, lanky girl?" Livy hated it when Southerners scoffed at her Lancashire accent, which became stronger under moments of duress, such as falling out of a plane behind enemy lines in France. The more her face reddened, the louder he'd laughed. She'd hated Peter Scobie that day. Now, turning away from the interior of the train car and the expressions of the happy and numb, Livy reminded herself that Peter deserved to be here among the lucky ones who'd made it home. The train began to slow. She glanced at her watch. The ceremony began in 25 minutes. What time, she wondered, would it be over? Livy hurried out of the Charing Cross station, heading for Trafalgar Square and the Mall. There she fell in with a small crowd of the well-dressed who had to be making their way to the palace as well. She wouldn't be the only one keeping the king waiting. "Olivia, is that you?" Livy turned to see a muted pink hat flouncing its way through a pack of the gentry, headed toward her. A moment later, Livy could see the head wearing it. Patricia O'Toole's long face broke into a grin of recognition as she came up alongside Livy. Being the wife of Geoffrey, the publisher of the newspaper with London's second lowest circulation, gave Patricia a certain status, at least in her own eyes. Despite the far too spring-like for this sombre occasion hat she wore, her frock would have been high-end at any of the finer ladies' shops in the West End. Livy reckoned the woman must spend a fair share of her husband's salary keeping up with their